Let's change it up a little bit today. Instead of talking about how to scale your Facebook ad campaigns or travel hack your way to first class, I want to share with you the dark side and really what I hate the most about affiliate marketing, lead gen, and pay-per-call. Because you see a lot of people that talk about these types of business online and then paint it like it's this paradise of money printing machine that solves all your problems and like only requires you to work 4 hours a week, which is bullshit. So I thought I'd just share with you a current frustration we're dealing with and what we're going to do about it. But more importantly, just to really be honest and open with you that it's not always scaling to the moon. There are downsides and upsides and everything in between. So let me just spill my thoughts here with you. I'm sure you'll learn something from this. So this month or this year has been our best year by far since I've been in business, in any kind of business. And we've had our biggest month, our second biggest month, and our third biggest month, and our fourth biggest month, all in some type of weird combination of months over the last 4 months. So yeah, this has been an incredible year, and I'm super grateful for that. And it's really, those are byproducts of just building good relationships, doing the right thing with the people you do business with, and not screwing people over, right? And then obviously getting good at your craft too. And what I've noticed, which is funny, at least in my dark sense of humor, is now that we're hitting bigger months than ever, it's almost like I put this pressure on myself to match, if not beat that, as we go forward. So April was our biggest month to date. May was our biggest month to date. April was our second biggest month. And then this month, as we finish June, it's almost July, this will be our third or possibly our second biggest month. And it's funny how that hitting those like bigger numbers really motivates you, but at the same time, you create this type of internal pressure that you want to match, if not exceed it. So when you come up short, like we did this month, or shorter, still amazing month, no complaints. But it's funny how we as humans get so hard on ourselves about things like that, because we're hitting incredible numbers, like we're doing bigger days than I could have ever imagined in this business. And still, it's not good enough, or we at least tell ourselves that. So just know if this is something you go through with affiliate marketing or really any kind of business, that this is normal. Like no business goes straight to the moon except maybe like ChatGPT and OpenAI, right? So I want to share this too, because if you're in one of these businesses, or even like e-commerce, or there's a lot of business types, it's not just online, that have these seasonalities or trends to them, I should say. I wouldn't call this seasonal. I think this is just the nature of this business I'm in, where we focus on a very specific type of lead generation and pay-per-call for attorneys. It's never going to be just straight rocket ships to the moon. There's going to be ups and downs and fluctuations. A lot of that's outside of our control. What we do is driven by hedge funds deciding to make large investments to back attorneys so they can go and purchase and acquire customers, which is what we produce. And we're not the decision maker. A lot of times the attorneys aren't even the decision maker. It's really just whatever's happening in the world, in the US, in litigation, and then also how hedge funds and VCs want to bet their money, right? You could say. So there are a lot of things outside of our control, but I think it's important to share that we're not necessarily like in a bad period. We're still doing great this month. Had an awesome month, like I said, but it wasn't as big as it was the month before, which it is what it is, right? And some of that's a lot of that's outside of my control. Something's always in your control. That's the reality, right? But the reason why I want to share this was because you'll probably go through this at some point too, especially if you choose to get into affiliate marketing or lead gen or pay-per-call. Some guys go through periods, they're not very well set up in the sense of they're solely dependent on maybe like one or two big buyers. And then when those things shift, like we saw this with insurance, right? A lot of people would generate health insurance leads and phone calls, and a lot of those budgets just disappeared because of policy changes, because of issues in the industry with fraud or market manipulation, by some of these call centers that were taking advantage of the consumers, right? So why am I saying this? Well, I think taking responsibility and ownership for your outcome is always where things should start, but also understanding that there's things outside of your control a lot of the time. And being prepared in your mind that things could always go down, but putting yourself in a position where you can sustain it is super important, right? Like, I'm fairly frugal. I've talked about this in a lot of other videos. Like, I have my few things I splurge on. I don't buy nice watches. I don't buy nice clothes besides my Lululemon and Aloe, because it's super comfy and it'll last forever. And then we travel a lot, but probably 70% of that's subsidized by using credit card points. So I'm not paying out of pocket for most of these things, right? Like, we got a big trip coming up on Monday. I'm going to be going to Spain for 2 weeks, then Kenya for a week to do the Great Migration. And then we are going to go to Uganda to trek with gorillas and chimpanzees. And then probably one more stop on after that before we head back to this part of the world. And if I paid everything cash for that, between like all the flights and stuff for myself, my wife, my mother-in-law, and the safaris and everything, I probably would have been out like 80 to 100 G's. Instead, I'm out of pocket maybe like around $20,000 for a lifetime of an experience of a lifetime. Like, seeing the Great Migration, being in a safari at that time of year is super special and unique, and trekking with the gorillas, and obviously time of Europe too, right? So why do I mention all this? Well, because I position myself to weather the storm, and I think this is something that we should all think about, whether we're running a local business, because I've been there and I've made mistakes on that level, or you're running a big operation. Putting yourself in a position where you can pivot and weather the storm when things get ugly, when things get messy, or just get tougher, I think is really important, right? I'm not stressed. I'm annoyed and frustrated with the market conditions of what we focus on, because some of it is out, like budget constraints are not completely out of my control, but are mainly out of my control because I'm not the decision maker, right? So little things like that, I could be pissed off and frustrated and angry about. And yes, I have some frustration, but it's not going to crush me if I can easily weather months of this because of my lifestyle, because my cost of living is probably $5,000 to $7,000 max per month, and that's doing whatever I want, whenever I want, without having to look at the bill, right? Because of the way I live and move. And so I hope that this message to you, the reason why I'm filming this video, is to share my current position I'm in, where we're still doing great, but I'm hitting a ceiling from where I want to actually go, because we've done bigger numbers. And my frustration around it, and how I'm dealing with it, right? So in addition to putting myself in a good position financially, with commitments, with cash stacked, right? With reasonably lower cost of living as a whole, whether I'm here in beautiful Columbia or Washington, D.C., it would be basically almost the same, but a little bit more expensive in D.C. But we're also looking at what can we add on to our business. Let's keep going deeper with what we do already, which we are, right? So we're looking for more law firms to sell to, more aggregators, more brokers, and other offers within the legal vertical. But we're also, as a team, having conversations of, okay, what are we actually good at? We're really good at creative output production, conversion rate optimization. And then I'm good at selling and working with buyers, right? So we're looking at how else can we take our skills that we have already, that we're already actively processing and using on a regular basis. What can we apply those to that it's not gonna feel like we're trying to start a brand new business, right? So as we go through these conversations, we're looking at other verticals. Well, we could do that, but in all honesty, it's not probably what I want to do. I don't want to make a huge jump outside of legal. I actually made less money when we moved from legal to insurance and came back to legal, and we're making more money than ever, right? Another thing we're looking at is, do we open up an agency arm, right? So do we go to big D2C brands in the ecom space and say, hey, here's our offer. It's a percentage of ad spend and or retainer with it. It's not cheap, right? But we're going to have a clear value add, full service creative agency production. We'll manage your conversion rate optimization, basically make you make more money and be more profitable at a lower cost, right? So that's one thing we're looking at. And then the second thing we're looking at is actually building our own ecom offer, right? So taking the skill sets we have with creative production, conversion rate optimization. I have an ecom background as well. I did drop shipping for 4 years. And we're having serious conversations of, is this the right next move? The questions I'm asking, is this the right next move? How hard would it be for us to make, not a pivot, but really an extension? And then how different is this from what we do already? So we haven't made our decision if we're going to, which one of those routes we're going to go down. We're also looking at monetizing our data and flipping the script a little bit in how we capture leads and monetize them. I just got off a call actually with my buddy Ron Hart and Vic, his cousin. They do some ninja stuff when it comes to capturing data and monetizing over time, building lifetime value out of data within lead gen, pay-per-call, and e-commerce. And so we're basically just looking at how do we diversify in a way where it's low-hanging fruit. It's more or less our process, our machine, our system, our skill of what we do today. How does it not completely distract us and take us on down another path that is complementing, right? So when budgets pick back up in legal to where we want to see them, where there's massive budgets, almost unlimited demand, we don't want to be in a position where we're so far deep down another path that we have to repivot completely to come back to what we do currently. So yeah, it's been fun. This has been an awesome year. I hope if you've watched these videos, you're seeing the change in me, my team, my energy too, right? Like it's been super cool. It's fun because, and it all comes back to what I was saying earlier, by positioning myself in a place where I can weather the storm. I can make decisions from the right place of, I'm not just going to pick one of these 3 things I'm talking about because it makes money, right? That's going to be a factor. But I'm also thinking like, how do I not make money the next month, but how do I hit higher revenue numbers than we hit last month when we had that massive month, but we do it consistently and build on it. Like that's what I'm thinking, so that our business, we take full advantage of, one, there are budgets available for these legal campaigns. We can ride the ups and the downs of it, but then also have growth, consistency, and stability as a company as a whole. Because I don't know about you, but I didn't get in the business to be fully dependent on someone else. That makes me think of this as being more of a job than a business, right? I got in the business to live life on my own terms and do what I want, right? So that's what I plan to do. So whatever that next move is, I'm going to openly share it here on YouTube. You'll be one of the first to know about it. If you follow this channel, make sure to like and subscribe if you don't already. And just a friendly reminder, put yourself in a position to win. And a lot of that comes down to not living outside of your means, not living some crazy lifestyle that you can barely afford, but really, there's nothing wrong with having nice cars and watches and getting bottle service and stuff. Just be strategic about it. Like, do it in a way where you win. Even if you have a bad month, it doesn't crush you while you still enjoy those things. I think that's the most important thing, right? So hope this open, honest perspective helps you in some way. Have an awesome day.